Silent is completely overpowered in Slay the Spire 2. I know this is the only first patch, but we've got to review her cards and tell you why Silent is so good so that you can use her to clear the Spire. Hi, I'm Glazer of Snap Judgments, and today we're going to review all the Silent cards, and then I'm going to, well, okay, we're probably not going to have time to do a run after we review all the silent cards, let's be honest, but I'm going to tell you what to pick, what we're looking for with this champion, who I can't seem to lose with. I played her a bunch in lower ascension, and I've just been dominating. And I see nothing in the game that's making this going to be any harder at higher ascension. I fully expect in a couple of weeks for her to be nerfed, but for the time being, she's insane. And part of the reason she's insane is she starts with one of the very best cards in the game in Neutralize. Neutralize is insanely good right now. It's so good that I even have been upgrading it once in a while. Now, Slay the Spire 2, one of the big strategy things is you are resting far more in Slay 2 than Slay 1, so you need things that are good with that upgrade. And Neutralize is not good with that upgrade, it's great. We'll talk about why it doesn't need the upgrade later, but what you need to know is that in Slay 1, there were a lot of enemies who would just basically do your whole HP or nearly your whole HP with one hit. That's not really the case in Slay 2. There's far more tons of small hits than big hits. And Weak, which weakens each of those hits individually, is incredibly strong. Silent is the best weak merchant in the game, and that is one of the key powers that she brings to bear. Zero cost from the start, able to put weak, is a game changer. Survivor, meanwhile, gives us our other broken thing right off the bat. The best thing to do with this champion right now is to discard cards, and you get a 8 block, which is a ton for the early game, and a discard in your starter deck. So the two things that give Silent a ton of survivability and a ton of power come right away in the deck. Let's take a look at the cards. I'll tell you what to skip. We don't need Slice. Slice is a perfectly acceptable card that you don't need. It's something you'll take in a pinch. 0-6 to 0-9 is not bad, but it's also just not good. Dagger Spray is fairly decent. It's a upgrade to 6. This is a card from Slay 1. This is something you will pull early, especially heading into your first couple of bosses, because your first couple of bosses, you're often going to need that extra bit of damage. You're going to need that extra bit of AoE. This hits twice, so it scales nicely with things like Vulnerable or Extra Strength for the mid game, but ultimately, this is another card that you're hoping to avoid. I think this is one of the first commons you should be taking. This is probably the best or second best attack common that Silent has access to. This draws a card and discards a card. The reason this is so good, we'll talk about the keyword sly later. The keyword sly is basically like Tactician was in the first game. It says when this card would be discarded, play it instead. There's a bunch of extremely powerful sly stuff to do that if you just get a dagger throw along with a survivor, you're starting to cook. 9 damage is really nice early game, and then this is perfectly cromulent to keep into the mid and late game because sometimes you just really need that discard. I am a big dagger throw fan, even if that person's hand must hurt for holding it that way. Flick Flack is our first Sly card. If this is discarded from your hand before the end of the turn, play it for free. And it's 7 damage, which is like barely more than a strike, but it's to all enemies. And again, a lot of the early bosses, a lot of the early stuff you're dealing with is all enemies. Being able to hit them all for basically strike all three, that is what is 3 energy worth of damage, right? Like that is a full turn's worth of damage without spending any energy. If you can hit this with a dagger throw, if you can hit this with one of the cards like Survivor or something else. Flick Flack isn't even the best Sly card. It's a Sly card you're happy to take early because worst case you can play it for 1, right? 1 for 7 for all. Okay, that's only one less than it's only one less than dagger throw, and it has the huge upside. It doesn't have the upside of being extra good with damage, but it's still a really solid card. Only goes up to 9, but like this is one that you're looking to take. You're absolutely all about this life early in the game. And mid game, you probably have better Sly cards, but this is a perfectly acceptable way to deal damage on your first floor, where you're most likely to die right now. Leading strike, 7 damage, add a shiv to your hand. So I keep hearing that shivs aren't as good. I think shivs are quite good. Shivs are a decent backup plan for silent. The main thing you want to be doing is sly. You are aiming to get into sly most of the time. But if you get offered shiv stuff early, you can win some games on shivs. It's a little harder. You're going to take a little more damage, but you should still be good to go. Luckily, there's commons to get in, and this is a good one. Look, this is 11 damage for one. 11 damage for one is not bad. It scales reasonably well to 14 damage for one. You don't ever really want to upgrade it, but if this gets hit with one of the many, many random upgrades, you're not sad. It's good damage, and there's plenty of ways to make the shiv more useful. It's not something you're looking to take, but if you need damage, if you're going a couple floors and you just need damage and you have a leak coming up, this can put you in the direction of shivs, and it's not half bad. From there, we have Poison Stab. Don't take this unless you absolutely have to. Poison was the best silent strategy in Slay 1, and it's generally not worth taking in Slay 2. It is there's a couple good poison cards, I think literally two good poison cards, but outside of that, Poison and Poison Stab are easy misses. Sucker Punch applies weak, but we already have free weak. Sucker Punch is something I will take in a pinch. It does more damage than it did in Slay 1, but unless it comes upgraded for the 2 week and 10 damage, I tend to just skip Sucker Punch. It's an okay card. It's just okay. Now we're starting to cook. This is another Sly card, and you don't want to play it unlike the other one, right? Because this one costs 2, and that's most of your turn. You're not getting extra energy the same way you got in Slay 1 right now. This is amazing. Just 3 damage to a random enemy 4 times is going to be a ton of damage. This obviously scales with vulnerable. This scales with strength buffs. You can make this a lot of damage, but even honestly, just 12 damage for what is very often 0 or the 1 cost of acrobatics is going to be incredible. Ricochet is a great card to target. You don't want to take it before you have a second discarder, but as long as you have that second discarder after Survivor in a small deck, you're good. Anticipate is a relatively easy skip. This is an okay card. I will take this mid to late game if I end up building around shivs. If I start building around shivs and I need ways to survive, the discard decks have better ways to block, but the shiv decks often have to just block the traditional way, and having a card like Anticipate to help with that is pretty solid. Is it great? No. Will I take it if I have to? Yes. Know when to take it. If you end up in poison, which you shouldn't, it works the same way as shivs, and you're going to want cards like Anticipate to help keep you alive. We continue on to Deflect. Deflect is just bad. I know energy is tight and a 0 for 4 block is fine, but this is just not enough. It doesn't block for enough. It doesn't do enough. It takes up a draw. It's a skip. Prepared is one of the best cards in the game, and the first card where I'm going to tell you you should almost always find a way to upgrade this. Draw 2, discard 2 is great. Basically, we saw all these cards we get for free, right? If we can play a free card, right? Prepared is free. If we can play a free card and discard a discard a card that then plays itself, we just paid 0 to make something happen. We paid 0 for 12 energy. We played 0 for 7 damage to all enemies. We're going to see other skills later. Sorry, other Sly cards later. What's really sick though is once this is upgraded, draw 2, discard 2, you can end up paying 0, seeing 2 new cards, and then getting rid of two, and then like playing 2 cards for 0 energy. I cannot imagine on any earth that this is allowed to continue, but it's still really good when it does. The only card that it even compares as a common is Acrobatics. The 2 best commons for Silent are Prepared and Acrobatics. Take them on sight in Act 1. I don't care what else is happening. Draw 3 or 4 cards, discard 1 card, does the thing you want. It gives you a full hand and discards the Sly cards. Finding your stuff, getting set up is extremely important in Slay the Spire now more than ever. You want to see your powers. You want to make sure things are happening. You want to lose as little life as possible while you get your deck set up so that you can stop doing damage. In addition to being able to play the Sly cards, Prepared and Acrobatics basically say, I'm going to find as soon as possible my combo pieces. I'm going to keep my deck small. I'm going to be able to potentially go infinite, and I'm going to find my combo pieces. Take Prepared and Acrobatics on sight. They are the best cards, the best common cards in the game, the best silent common cards. Take them, live them, love them, start your turns with them, giggle uncontrollably. Backflip is not quite as good. Backflip is unbelievable if you end up in the non-discard deck. If you're going to end up playing, and like you're not going to be shown every comment every game, right? As weird as that is, you're if you are shown it, you're going to take Acro and even prepared over Backflip 90% of the time. But if you end up in shivs, or God forbid, you end up in poison, backflip's going to be amazing and even worth an upgrade. Seeing more cards is incredibly important. Getting set up is incredibly important. Having block attached to that is incredibly important. Nice and simple, right? We'll take the extra damage to get the discard stuff going because the discard stuff is stronger. Playing stuff for free is better, but backflip gives you an extra option for the other type of decks. You'll take it in the occasional discard deck if things aren't going perfectly, but generally speaking, its use is not going to be those discard decks. Those have acrobatics and prepared. It's going to be the shiv decks, the poison decks. Blade Dance was one of the best cards for Silent as a common in the previous version of Slay the Spire. Here, it exhausts. It's add 3 ships to your hand and exhaust. So it's a one-time play 4 cards, get 12 damage. That's fine. It's fine. Like, I take it reasonably often. I don't really usually want more than one anymore. That it exhausts means I can take more than one. 1 for 12 is good damage. It's just perfectly cromulent. Please don't upgrade it. But it's perfectly cromulent. It is one of the things you can do with shivs. There's enough shiv support and like different shiv support that you're not sad to have it, but it's not great. Cloak and Dagger is actually just better. Um, I can pay 1 to get 3 shivs, or I can pay 1 and you have to upgrade Cloak and Dagger. Fair warning, if you take it, know you're upgrading it, but you have to pay 1, you get the 6 block and the 2 shivs in your hand. So if you're I get 1 less shiv, so I get 4 less damage, but I also get 6 block. I'll take that trade off most of the time. I think it wasn't even close that Blade Dance was significantly better in Slay 1 because you would have to waste the upgrade on Cloak and Dagger. In Slay 2, I think I'd rather have Cloak and Dagger a lot of the time. I'm avoiding both, but again, if I'm not being offered anything and I see the right rare early or whatever, and I end up with Cloak and Dagger, I end up with Blade Dance, I'm perfectly fine doing so. I've won plenty of Shiv runs at this point. Deadly Poison is terrible. It's just too low numbers, too slow. Its upgrade is not big enough. It's a junk card right now. Again, Poison is in a real bad spot and is going to need some kind of buffs. Dodge and roll, again, the numbers are too small. If you end up with a couple of a lot of dexterity, dexterity is the stat that adds to your block, you can end up taking dodge and roll, but dodge and roll is kind of nothing in this game. It's an easy skip almost always. Piercing Well, however, is utterly insane. I just said earlier how good Weaken was because there's a lot of group attacks for a lot of smaller attacks. Piercing Well says, no, those don't exist. For 1 energy, I nullify those enemies' entire turns. And then it exhausts, so it gets out of your way. This is incredible. One of the best commons in the game. This might have been the best common in Slay 1. I don't know why this is an uncommon, but here we are. It's nasty good. Take it if you see it. You'll be happy you did. This is one of the worst cards in the game. Apply 7 poison for 2 is a horrible, ridiculously bad rate. That it has retain is nowhere near good enough to make the difference. Because it's not like he gets cheaper by being retained, right? One of the worst cards. Literally never take it, please. Untouchable is one of our biggest payoffs, but either 9 or 12 block for 0 energy is insane. We're using this with our prepareds. We're turning our survivors into 17 block. Any dexterity takes this directly over the top. This card is incredible. I will take this one straight up, sight unseen. I won't take the 7 damage to all, and I won't take the 12 damage, the 3 random hits for 12 damage, right? I won't take those if I don't have extra discarders. I'll just take Untouchable. I'll find a use for Untouchable. Worst case, I grabbed a 2 for 9 block and occasionally draw with Survivor and like Dagger Throw. Fine. This card is incredible. This is like the entire block pen a lot of the time for the discard deck, and it is more than enough. Backstab is decent. Like, I didn't like Backstab a lot in Slay 1. Just the 11 damage at the start that then goes away. It was often messing with things I was trying to do as far as drawing cards. Look, 0 damage for 11 early here is going to make a lot of your hallways easier. It's not great, generally speaking, for most elites, but making your hallways easier, taking less damage in hallways because you have Backstab, is generally worth the card spot. You're not going to take it every game. You're not going to take it mid game. But if you see this in the first couple of floors, you're happy to have a backstab. Precise cut. Uh, 13 damage deals 2 less damage for each other card in your hand. I keep hearing this is good. I mess around. I hear this is good, but like this is very, very often doing very little damage for me. And the problem with things that aren't amazingly useful in the silent hand, right, is that you want to be seeing the things you want to discard, and every extra card you add that's not one of those things that either draws you in, uh, draws and then discards, or is what you want to discard, is kind of like a spot that prevents you from comboing off. And so precise cut is super mid in those decks. If you're gonna go the shiv route and you see a precise cut, feel free to grab it. It's obviously not very useful in poison decks, but if you're gonna go the shiv route and you see precise cut, go it. It's fine, I guess. Otherwise. Skewer is terrible. There's just better things to do with your energy. Please never take this. It was okay in Slay 1 where you can get occasional tons of energy. That doesn't happen in Slay 2. Skip Skewer. Next up, Finisher. I don't know, man. If you end up in the Shiv deck, then you take Finisher. If you don't end up in the Shiv deck, then Finisher is really, really bad. There's enough zero cost attacks now for a Silent, even outside of Shivs, that Finisher's okay. I got Finisher on a Transform on turn 1, so I built around Shivs, and Finisher was a card I was happy to have. Its upgrade is really nice to 8. Fine. It's a fine card if you end up in Shivs. There's also just better payoffs. You don't need something like Finisher for Shiv anymore. Flechette is good. This is almost always going to be 1 for 15. We just talked about how good Blade Dance is at being 1 for 12. Well, 1 for 15 is better. You basically always have 2 skills. But then you also have cards like Acrobatics, where this can be 1 for 21. Right? Sorry, 1 for 20, 1 for even more. And God, if you upgrade it, its baseline of 1 for 21 is stupid. Flechettes is a really, really, really good card, and one that you should strongly consider taking as soon as you have like any draw. Just genuinely really strong. Too much damage for what it is. I'll be surprised if this doesn't go to a 1/4 at some point. Follow through is one of my favorite cards in every single version of a silent deck. It's also a card I'm happy to upgrade. 6 damage to all enemies is whatever. Like, I'll take it. That's much like for the first card we talked about, I'll take it. This is yet another week. This is my go-to second week. I'm taking it almost always when I see it. I'm upgrading it reasonably often. Depending on what my hand is doing, what my energy looks like. I'm upgrading this or neutralize because I want extra weak. I'll take just casual damage and a weak to all enemies. That's really nice. He saves 25% less damage, right? Makes your blocking so much easier. Follow through is great. The cost is if the last card you played this turn was a skill, that always happens when you want it to. You'll be totally fine. Love follow through. Memento Mori is kind of junk. Deal 8 damage, deal 4 additional damage for each card discarded this turn. Your discard decks don't need it. Just skip it. Don't bother. I mean, I guess if you've got a discard deck and you can't find anything to make it happen and you see this, you can take it, but just skip it 90% of the time. Strangle solid. Um, you're playing a lot of cards in the Shiv's deck, and this ends up dealing a ton. Choke costs 2 in the first game. This costs 1, and it's really solid if you end up in the Shiv's deck. I'll occasionally take it in a discard deck just to speed the game up. It will slow your combo down, but like if you just play it and then you do 8,000 of the discard things, this is going to deal a good chunk of damage. Dash is whatever. You'll take it early game once in a while if you need the block and damage. So a lot of the thing in Slay you're doing is figuring out how to block stuff and then make the enemy die before they can scale up to be a real threat, right? Dash makes that easier in the early game when things tend to be hitting for about 10 damage and have not much more than 10 hit points. You get to like do both at the same time at a lesser rate than just playing 2 blocks or 2 defends, but it's totally fine. Look, and then you upgrade it and it's 2 blocks and 2 defends. Don't upgrade it. Take it, use it early, and then ignore it. You won't play it much late. That's exactly the same situation it was in Slay 1, by the way. Pounce I like more than most do. My use for Pounce is weird though. Pounce is 2, and 2 is hard, right? 2 for 12 is okay. Remember, we have 1 for 15 and 1 for 12, right? But the next skill you play costs 0 is occasionally good. There's cards like Leg Sweep, and then if you get Tactician and you don't have the full discard thing going, being able to pounce and then play Tactician for free or Reflex for free, that can win you the game. So there's times when pounce works. If your deck is doing what it's supposed to, you don't really want Pounce. But if you're struggling to like pull things together, Pounce can be a really nice option, giving you basically extra energy. Predator is bad now. Sorry. There's just better like there's better cards at the uncommon slot. 15 damage to draw 2. If this was its upgrade always 20 damage to draw 2, we'd cook. Draw 2 is nice, so I'm not saying this is unplayable, but like it's generally a card you would rather avoid. Just it doesn't do enough for you anymore. This card is completely broken. This is I don't know if it's the best because again, silence stuff is broken. Every silent deck should take pinpoint, but the Shiv deck and the discard deck absolutely adore it. Well, even the poison deck, because all that stuff is skills, right? Everything silent cares about is a skill. You're almost always playing at least 2 skills, and then you have 17 or 22 damage. And yes, I am upgrading this all the time. That's insane. This card is insane. I took Eviscerate in Slay 1 all the time, and Eviscerate in my discard decks did work. I had to upgrade it and work for it. Pinpoint, you don't have to work for it, you just have to play cards. Sometimes, early game, an enemy will be attacking me for like 15 or 18 damage, and I'll play block, 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 and then I just get a casual 17 damage. That's better than Dash, friends. Pinpoint is a must grab immediately the second you see it. Calculated Gamble is also a must grab immediately. It used to be that it wouldn't exhaust. Now it retains. Fine. What you're using it for two things. Oh, look, I drew a bunch of my Sly. Oops, calculated gamble. It all happened. Or hand one. Huh. I've got calculated gamble and then a bunch of mediocre stuff. I would like to see my setup cards, calculated gamble, and then you get your setup cards. Zero cost discard, so it's good. It's an easy grab. There's almost never a downside to just taking calculated gamble. Escape plan, speaking cards, there's very little downside to. Draw one card. If you draw a skill, gain 3 block. Great. We have a couple payoffs for draw or playing cards. Escape plan does that for 0. And sometimes we get a little bit of block. If you see it, you stick it in your deck. There's, again, very little downside. It's not even going to affect your infinite combos because it draws a card. You love it. Expose is a card I go up and down on. There's not that much artifact in the game. That this just negates artifact is nice. That this negates block is very nice. Again, there's not a lot of enemies that have block. But then you still have the vulnerable, right? I don't know. This is decent. It's a good card. I feel like I want this to be great. And a lot of the times I keep waiting for the right time to use it and it doesn't really come up. And so I'm sitting on it. I should probably just use it. It might just be that I'm still learning the game a little bit. Expose is fine and safe to take, but it's not insane. Oop. I just lost the thing. Whee. Where are we? Now we got to click through 8,000 cards. Sorry. Ounce, Predator, Pinpoint, Calculator. Blur, Bubble Bath. Ah, we're all the way here now. All right. Expose. Wait, why did it? Oh, because. Got it. Hidden Daggers, I like a lot. It is the cross section between the Shiv deck and the discard deck. I take it in either. It's an easy grab because it goes into what I think the two best silent strategies are. It's fine in the discard deck as a way to get your Sly going and then get an extra 8 damage out of it, and it's fine in the daggers deck because you're likely to end up with a couple Sly cards. Cool. Happy to have it. Repeatable ability to get daggers is nice since Blade Dance isn't anymore. Blur's fine. Again, Blur is better if you're doing poison or shivs than if you're doing discard. You've got the common that does all the block you need right now, at least until they add an Act 4. But Blur is nice otherwise. The block is not removed is nice. There's relics that do that too, at least in Slay 1. Blur's okay. It's a good card. It's not something you take early. It's not something you really prioritize. But if you see it sort of mid-game once you realize you're in a Shiv strategy, it's not bad. Bubble, bubble, bubble is terrible. If an enemy has poison, apply 9 poison. For 1, that's a decent rate. But if you draw this before poison, unless you get like one of the early poison relics, right? That there's that relic that puts 4 poison on everything, same as in Slay 1. If you see that, fine, you can take bubble bobble because then it's just 1 for 9. Fine, I guess. This is generally a skip. Again, I think poison is really bad and they need to reconsider how they did it. Expertise, draw until you have 6 cards in your hand, or 7. 6, 7. Sorry. Please don't unsub. This is very whatever. By the way, if you haven't subbed, I'm trying to help you out here, early Slay players. Hit that sub. I'm gonna keep doing Slay videos. I promise. I'm in love with the game. Draw until you have 6 cards in your hand is um fine. I don't know. If you're discarding a lot and you haven't seen as much draw, if you haven't seen acrobatics, but you're running like a if you haven't seen acrobatics and you're running a bunch of prepareds and you're running that shiv thing from 2 cards ago, you're running hidden daggers, then all of a sudden that this is a like great card, but otherwise it's just fine. It's just very fine. So an occasional take, nothing fantastic. Hand trick is bad. If it had Sly, we'd be cooking. Gain 7 black, add Sly to a skill in your hand this turn. Okay. I don't want to do that. 7 blocks, acceptable, but I don't really want to do that. This clogs us up in the meantime. The cards that have Sly, I want. I like the cards that have Sly I'm already good with. I guess this could be good to like combine Sly with poison, but no. Um, this is a poison card, and poison is bad. This also exhausts itself. Gain block equal to poison on all enemies. Good for you. If poison was any good, we'd be cooking. Bouncing Flask now costs way too much. That is 2 for 9 poison, and it's still random. No, thank you. Again, Bouncing Flask was amazing in Slay 1, and I think it's generally bad in Slay 2. A victim of poison falling apart. Wherefore art thou, Catalyst? Leg Sweep is pretty solid. Leg Sweep is, I think, the only 2 cost silent skill I like. I mean, that's not Sly anyway. It's just 2 weak and 11 block is a lot. That's worth the 2 energy. If you make it 3 and 14, it's really worth it. This is a great card. Leg Sweeps remains really good. It solves a lot of hallways and a lot of early bosses for you, where you just sort of play Leg Sweep and you're like, all right, that turn is settled. You play Leg Sweep, you're like, that turn is settled as you get set up, and then you're good to go. Very, very, very good card. Again, weak is insanely good. Up my sleeve, add 3 ships to your hand, reduce this card's cost by 1. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I hate this card. I think this is kind of terrible. I want this to be good. This is one of my least favorite Shiv cards. It bothers me that it's an uncommon. It should absolutely be a common because I don't think it's really good. Paying 2 for 3 Shivs is rough, and I know what they're trying to do given that Blade Dance now exhausts. This is your repeatable version for late game, but there's just not enough extra energy for me to be able to afford this. Sorry. This card is fantastic. Another one I really want to upgrade. It goes up to 6 poison. Sly to all enemies. This is the best poison card in, or tied for the best poison card in Silence area. Just do it. You just do it. You take the poison. You take the extra damage. Right, over 2 turns it's 7 damage. Over 3 turns it's 9 damage for free to all enemies. And then, it removes things like artifact. It's just a really, really solid card. Is it the best of the Sly cards? No, the block one is better. And then we're going to see another one that I think is insane, but it's still really good. Uh, I mean, not counting Reflex, I guess, because Reflex is probably the best Sly card. It's Reflex or the block one. Draw cards, good. I don't know. Draw cards and then draw more cards, good. Go infinite. Win game, Slay Spire. Reflex is amazing. Take Reflex if you see it. And you have at least 2 discarders, right? Like, if you can get into a discard deck, this is a way to do so. Tactician is also insane. Tactician wants an upgrade in ways Reflex doesn't. Fair warning. Tactician for 1 energy is whatever. Tactician for 2 energy is game and life changing. One of the best upgrades in the kit, along with Prepared. Tactician is unbelievable and okay, so there's just so few ways in this game to get extra energy. Tactician says, oh look, extra energy, take it. Accuracy is fine if you're playing shivs. If you're not playing shivs, don't take accuracy. I don't know. Don't use it to get you into shivs, please. Like, you should take it if you are already in shivs. But like, if you're in shivs, this is really good damage scaling. If you're not, then it's really bad. Footwork is great. A single dex matters a lot in this game. Again, a lot of small attacks is a thing I keep saying. Footwork is really, really good in Slay 1. It's probably in many ways better in Slay 2 because in Slay 1 it was often a strategy. Get a bunch of footwork. So get a footwork and a nightmare. Now you just play the one footwork and then your little blockers are often enough to just get you through the whole game. Infinite Blades is okay. Look, if the other the other like repeatable Shiv cards are going to be bad, then this is decent. I don't know how else to put it. I don't know if it's worth the upgrade, but like, If you're in shivs, I think Infinite Blades is okay. I used to hate this card. Like one of my least favorite cards in Slay 1. They nerfed all the other stuff around it, so if I want shivs and I just want to see a shiv, I'm okay with this. Noxus Fumes is the other poison card I kept referring to. Noxus Fumes is great. It not only removes artifact charges, it is scaling damage as you're blocking. Being able to take chunks of damage out of enemies is really strong. I love Noxus Fumes in Slay 1. Whether I'm in a poison build or not, Noxus Fumes is likewise great in Slay 2. This or the Sly one are the best poison cards in the kit. Outbreak. Every 3 times you apply poison, deal 11 damage to all enemies. No thank you. There's not enough good poison. Don't play Outbreak. Phantom Blades. Shivs gain retain. The first shiv you play each turn deals 9 additional damage. So the idea is that you can have a shiv every turn, but the real idea here is that I took this and it was fine, right? The real idea is that, oh, all my shivs have retain. I'm just going to keep all my shivs and then play finisher or play that thing that does +2 damage every time you play a card, and then you play all the shivs, that kind of thing. It's not worth it. Don't do that strategy. The shivs are fine even without Phantom Blades. Well Laid Plans is a get on site. It lets you set up your combos. That's it. Well Laid Plans is amazing. Great in Slay 1, every bit as good in Slay 2. One of the best uncommons in the game. Please immediately take Well Laid Plans. When you see it, you will thank me once you get good enough to see what you should be keeping between turns. All right, I keep hearing Speedster is not very good. It's not an energy relic. It's not doesn't have an energy upgrade, which royally sucks. But this is just decent. My biggest problem with the discard deck is it takes 150 years to win. It takes so long. So once I've got the combo going, sometimes I just take Speedster, y'all. Like I just take Speedster and then I can win quickly. It's 3 damage to everything every time I draw a card. It doesn't work with your first 5, but I'm playing Acrobatics and then it's saying 6 or 9 damage to everything. Cool. And then I play an Acrobatics and it's another 2, and you get the idea. Oh look, there's an extra 2 damage on my dagger throw. I like Speedster. Is it great? No. I think you should probably skip it most of the time, but it does like literally speed up your game. Assassinate is I mean look, everything I said about backstab, go rewind. Still really good if you see it early. If you don't see it early, probably skip it. An innate that does damage is good, right? Vulnerable is better than 1 extra damage on backstab. Assassinate's fine. Take it if you see it early, or if you're in shivs. If not, skip. I'm not good enough to play Grand Finale effectively. I can never count the damn things. If you are good at counting, if you are good at math, feel free to take Grand Finale. It'll kill everything in the game in Slay 2. But I cannot handle this card. I never remember to count properly. Oh, also, if you're gonna take this, hopefully you also get Well Laid Plans. Okay. Echoing Slash is terrible unless you see it on like floor 1. Deal 10 damage to all enemies. Repeat this for each enemy killed. 10 damage is enough to usually kill enemies, so I don't know what we're doing here, friends. I don't know why this is a rare, except that it would be like really good if you could get it early consistently, but it's really terrible as a rare. Skip. The Hunt. Deal 10 damage if fatal, get an additional card reward. This is fantastic because all right, you might have noticed that Silent has numerous insane commons, and getting extra card rewards means you're going to see most. You should be skipping most of your like extra stuff once you're sure you can survive the area of the game you're on, right? You don't want to fill your deck with a bunch of crap that you're not going to want later. But you do want a bunch of acrobatics and prepares, and the Hunt helps you get those. This is much like the gold. It's even better. There was a 2 cost gold one that gave you 25 or 30 gold every time you killed something with it. In the first one, this is better. Take it if you see it. It's great. Murder is unbelievably bad. Deal 1 damage. Deal 1 additional damage for each card you've drawn this combat. So, I mean, 2 turns I can pay 3 for 10 or 3 for 12. 3 turns, 15. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing this. There's no battles long enough for me to want murder. Sorry. Adrenaline is a must grab. Gain an energy and to draw 2 cards. There's just no downside. It exhausts and gets out of your way. It's a +1 energy, +2, +1 card, right? Because you don't play an energy to play it, and then it was a draw, so you're getting 1 extra card. You take it every time you see it, without question. And I mean, like, look, you'll take your combo cards over it, right? But if you're not seeing your combo cards, you take Adrenaline. It makes your deck better. Malaise is fine. Energy is at a premium, so Malaise is hard to use. Malaise was great in Slay 1 when you'd have like 7 energy and just be like, woohoo, I win. But like it's really, really, really hard in Slay 2 to have a bunch of extra energy. So I don't like Malaise as much. It's fine, right? It still upgrades to +1. You'll still occasionally get the relic that makes X +2, and then it'll be fine. But generally speaking, it's fine. It's an okay card. If you didn't find a second weekend after neutralize, you can take it. If not, it's probably a skip. Blade of Ink, this turn, whenever you play an attack, gain 2 strength this turn. Um, this is one of those payoffs for the retain thing, and it's terrible. Don't take it basically ever. This is a skill, so it doesn't attack. It's just play 2 to gain a bunch of strength, potentially down the line. Finisher is better. Burst is nice. This turn, your next skill is played an extra time. If you're going to get it, you do want to upgrade it to get it to be the next 2 skills. It works well with acrobatics. It works well with shivs. You're happy to have burst a lot of the time. Not always, like in Slay 1, but a lot of the time. Not having access to Catalyst, because Catalyst doesn't exist in Slay 2. It was one of the best poison skills. Really hurts this, and that poison is bad hurts this. So this is good, but it's not. It's good. Corrosive Wave. Whenever you draw a card this turn, apply 3 poison to all enemies. Um, Fine. Look, if you're doing the draw thing, this goes in draw decks though, not poison decks. Keep that in mind. If you're doing a bunch of draw discard stuff, occasionally you'll just want, again, much like the previous thing, that does 3 damage whenever you draw a card. Same concept here, except that's a power and this is a skill. You'd rather have the power, even if it costs more. Shadow Step, discard your hand. Next turn, attack deal double damage. So the problem with this card is that well-laid plans exist, and you would much rather have well-laid plans. If you don't have well-laid plans or can't figure out how to use well-laid plans for whatever reason, you'll do well with Shadow Step because this discards your hand. And the second you have a reflex, that's decent. The second you have a bunch of slide cards, that's decent. And then you get the double damage, and you're a pretty happy camper. If not, no. Also, worth noting, upgrades to 0, worth it. Shadow Meld also upgrades to 0. Double the block you gain this turn is fine. I don't know. There's just not enough damage for me to really want this. This is a good block card. If you're in shivs, I can see taking it because you just need that extra block. But it's not, I don't know, kind of junky. Probably usually a skip. Storm of Steel is really bad now. Discard your hand, add 1 shiv to your hand for each card discarded. If you end up in a discard deck that also has a bunch of shivs, this could be good, but that's your only hope. If Sly plus shivs, fine. But generally, those are 2 different decks. This is the thing you're supposed to be doing if you play shivs, right? Knife Trap, play every shiv in your exhaust pile on the enemy. Be honest, never seen it. Upgrade and play. Oh, that's pretty cool. Well, the enemy. That's interesting. Not all enemies, just the enemy. Lame. So fine, I guess. If you end up in shivs, I would take it if I ended up in shivs and I was going to play a million shivs. But there's enough ways to scale up shiv damage between accuracy and something else we're going to see that and things don't have enough hit points that like I don't know if I care about this. I don't know if I need this. Like, why do I want this and just not finisher? Right? This seems harder to use. Bullet time is fine. Is it's upgraded still too? You're gonna need to upgrade it, but basically saying in like if this is like needed for poison decks. If you're doing the draw thing, obviously this you can't draw additional cards is really bad. If you're doing the shiv thing, well, you don't need bullet time. Like you have shivs, right? But if you end up in poison, which you shouldn't, bullet time's fine. Nightmare, which was utterly broken in the first game, has lost a lot of utility. It was really great with footwork. It's still okay with footwork, but you don't need that many footworks anymore. It's really, really great if you have what's the name of this card? If you had Catalyst in the first one. Well, that doesn't exist anymore. So I don't really want Nightmare as much anymore. Again, upgraded, we can start to talk. Native Nightmare will eventually break this, I think, but not yet. Accelerant, poison triggered 1 additional time. This is our catalyst replacement, and it's not worth it. Basically, if you had 5 poison, it'll trigger 5 and then it'll trigger 4 immediately. That's nice. It could put you in poison if you have like literally no direction, but it's a rare, so you're probably not going to be in that situation, and poison's bad, so you probably shouldn't be taking it when you see it. After Image is really, really, really good. I like After Image a lot. It is a whole ass block plan in Slay 2. You play a million shivs, you get block. You discard a bunch of cards, you get block. You're playing 2 cards every time you play Sly, so that's 2 blocks. Great card. After Image is good in Slay 1 and great in Slay 2. Tools of the Trade is likewise Queen Slay 2. It's a guaranteed draw and discard. Extra draw, good. Discard, good. I don't know. That seems obvious. Oh, it does the thing we want. I would honestly often rather have an Anticipate, which seems wild, but is also true, but it's still great. Envenom is fine. If you get it, you probably want to upgrade it to do 2 poison, and then you want it to be 3 with that artifact that gives extra poison. It no longer goes down to 2. If you end up in shivs and you need the extra damage, this is one of the better ways to do it because it gets that damage out quickly. Fan of Knives I like a lot. Shivs hit all enemies and add 4 shivs to your hand. It's a power, so just the rest of the game, shivs hitting all enemies is really good. There's a lot of group attacks, and being able to have shivs just take care of everything lets you build your whole deck around shivs. This pushes me into shivs. It's not amazing otherwise, but I do think it's really good. Master Planner, when you play a skill, it gains Sly. Okay, great. Not for the rest of the game. Not for the rest of the game though. Just for the rest of that round. No, thank you. Tracking, weak enemies take double damage from attacks. So I thought this was bad, and then I took it, and it was hilariously good. So basically, what I've been doing is I've been trying to build around the acrobatics and perception thing, and then I've been backing myself up into the shiv thing if I have to. Right? That's the game plan here. I'm taking enough weaken because weaken is basically my survival, right? I'm generally taking weaken to keep me alive. Oh, why not just do double damage then? Sure, like that's perfectly cromulent, right? This is a better way to do double damage than the other one. When I played it, I was very impressed. Is it the best thing? No, but it's a good thing. I'm happy to take it. This is the money. I've seen this a bunch of times, and I love it so very much. I am basically always upgrading this when I see it. 1 dex goes a really long way. 4 thorns with again all the enemies that multi attack. I got 2 of these and a thorns once, and then I'm just doing like 15 damage. Yep, 15 damage every time the opponent hits me. Everyone just killed themselves smashing into me. Abrasive is phenomenal. It does not need the dex to be a great card, and it still has the dex. Whenever you play a card, deal damage to a random enemy is bad. 4 damage to a random enemy, that's not worth 3. That's it. That is the silent card pool. That's everything. Is there might be some stuff I haven't unlocked, but I play oh yeah, we have a couple more. I play almost exclusively silent. I love silent very much. Trust me, do what I'm saying. It's my best champion. And yeah, I'm gonna do a silent run tomorrow for you, and we'll take a look at exactly how this stuff works in action. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to sub, like, and comment for a bunch of Slay stuff and some other games. We're gonna start Richard Garfield's No Auto Battler here soon too. If that sounds good to you, sub, keep it here. Peace.